A train just passed through the 8th floor of an apartment building. Not past it, not beside it, through it. The residents on that floor have been living with that rumble every few minutes for years. And to them, it's completely normal. That's China. And we haven't even started yet. In this video, I'm going to take you inside cities so extreme, so surreal, so impossibly ambitious that the rest of the world hasn't even begun to process what China has built. And by the end, I'll show you the one city that will genuinely make you question everything you thought you knew about what a city can be. But first, that train through the apartment building. Let me explain. Because what I found in Chongqing wasn't just an architectural quirk. It was the first clue in a pattern I kept seeing across the entire country. A city built inside a gorge so deep it has its own weather system. A bridge so high that standing on it feels like standing in a plane. And one ancient town that survived an earthquake when the modern city around it was completely destroyed. 3 mysteries, 1 journey. Let's go! Most people have never heard of Chongqing. That's already the first surprise, because this is the largest city proper in the world by administrative area. Over 32 million people. And it sits inside a gorge where 2 great rivers collide, the Yangtze and the Jialing. Which means there is almost no flat ground to build on. So they built up. Towers rise directly from vertical hillsides. Highways spiral around skyscrapers like steel vines. Bridges soar hundreds of meters above the water below. And when the city needed a metro line, there was nowhere left to put the station. So they built it inside a high-rise apartment building instead, lines 6 through 8, right through the middle of someone's home. But here's what nobody tells you about Chongqing at night. Because it has no flat ground, the lights don't spread outward like in other cities. They spread in every direction, up hillsides, across cliff faces, along bridges suspended in the dark. Standing on one of its viewpoints after midnight, Chongqing doesn't look like a city. It looks like someone poured a galaxy into a canyon and left it there. I've been to a lot of cities. I have never seen anything like this. And before I tell you about the next city, I need to mention something I noticed in Chongqing that I couldn't explain. There are neighborhoods here that are completely unreachable by road. Some can only be accessed by a single elevator built into a cliff face. I asked a local how people got there before the elevator was built. She smiled and said, "They didn't." There are parts of this city that were effectively cut off from the rest of the world until infrastructure finally caught up. And that question, what happens to a place when the infrastructure finally arrives, is exactly what took me to the next city on this journey. Here is something that will change the way you watch Avatar. James Cameron's team flew to Zhangjiajie in Hunan province. They looked at the sandstone pillars rising from the valley floor, over 3,000 of them, some more than 200 meters tall, each covered in vegetation, each disappearing into cloud, and they made a decision. They decided not to invent a landscape for Pandora. They decided to use this one. 300 million years ago, this entire area was a flat plateau. 300 million years of wind and water carved it into what it is today. The same process, the same forces, just time. At a scale that the human brain is not designed to process. And when you walk among these pillars, that's what you feel. Not awe exactly, something more uncomfortable than awe. The quiet realization that you are standing inside 300 million years of geological patience and you are very, very small. Then there's the Beilong elevator. Built directly into the face of a vertical cliff, it carries visitors 326 meters upward in under 2 minutes, making it the tallest outdoor elevator on Earth. From below, it doesn't look real. It looks like something someone drew on a cliff as a joke. From the top, the view of 3,000 pillars extending to every horizon is the kind of image that rewires something inside you. And here's where this journey started to change for me. I came to China expecting spectacle, expecting things that were big and impressive and visually extraordinary, and I was getting that constantly. But somewhere between the Beilong elevator and the next place on my list, I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. I'd been asking, how did they build this? When the real question is, why did they build this at all? Because these cities, these bridges, these structures, they weren't built for tourism. They were built to connect places that were previously unreachable, to give people access to the rest of the world. China has 1.4 billion people spread across 9.6 million square kilometers, the third largest country on Earth by land area. Much of that land is mountains, gorges, plateaus, and vertical cliff faces. Building the impossible isn't ambition here, it's necessity. The result is somewhere in Guizhou province. When it opened in 2016, it became the highest bridge in the world. It spans a gorge 565 meters above the river below, higher than the One World Trade Center. If you dropped a stone from the center of this bridge, it would fall for over 6 seconds before hitting water. That's the result. Now here's why it exists. Before this bridge, communities on either side of this gorge were separated by hours of dangerous winding road through severe mountain terrain. Many villages were practically unreachable in winter. Children couldn't get to school reliably. Medical emergencies had no fast route out. The bridge reduced that crossing to under 1 minute. 1 minute instead of hours. 565 meters of empty air between people who needed each other. And standing at the center of the Beipanjiang Bridge, in the fog that fills the gorge most mornings, there's a particular feeling I can only describe as suspension. Between two mountains, between two worlds, between past and present. The weight of the structure beneath your feet, the absolute nothing beneath that. It is one of the most disorienting physical sensations I have ever experienced. Marco Polo called it the Venice of the East. he was wrong, but only because Venice hadn't fully established itself in the Western imagination yet. Suzhou was built 2,500 years ago. Its classical gardens are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Canals thread through the old city in every direction. Willows trail into dark water. At dusk, lantern light reflects across surfaces that have been reflecting lantern light for 1,000 years. And 5 kilometers away, Shanghai Tower is twisting into the sky. This is what makes Suzhou so extraordinary. In most of the world, cities face a binary choice: modernize or preserve. Suzhou refuses the question entirely. It holds both realities simultaneously. Ancient garden walls still standing from the Ming Dynasty, casting their shadows across the glass facades of one of China's most powerful economic engines. And neither seems wrong. Neither seems out of place. The classical gardens themselves were designed using a technique that has no direct Western equivalent. Designers used borrowed scenery, carefully placed openings, the precise arrangement of rock and water to create the impression of vast natural landscapes inside tiny enclosed spaces. In the humble administrator's garden, just 5 hectares, you feel like you're looking out across the world. The Chinese art of making small spaces feel infinite, perfected here for 2,500 years. Shanghai doesn't need an introduction, but it needs a correction. Most people think they know Shanghai from the postcards. The Pudong skyline, the Oriental Pearl Tower, the Shanghai Tower twisting upward, a deliberate spiral that reduces wind load by 24%, which is why it can reach 632 meters without tearing itself apart. But that's the postcard Shanghai. The Shanghai that surprises you is different. It's the French concession. Plane trees planted over a century ago forming a green canopy over streets lined with Art Deco buildings. Independent bookshops. Quiet cafes where time moves at a different speed than the rest of the city. It's the Yew Garden, 450 years old. Sitting in the middle of one of the densest urban cores on Earth. 10 minutes from Zhangjiajie, 1,000 years from anything around it. It's the Tianzifang district, old factory spaces converted into a maze of galleries and studios that feels more like a village than a city neighborhood, except that it is surrounded on every side by a megalopolis of 24 million people. I'll be honest, I thought I had Shanghai figured out before I arrived. I thought it was going to be impressive in the way that impressive things are impressive. Large, polished, technically perfect, slightly cold. I was wrong. Shanghai has a warmth to it that I didn't expect, a complexity. A city that has absorbed so much history. Colonial, revolutionary, ancient, ultra-modern. And somehow made something coherent out of all of it. I left Shanghai thinking about it differently than I arrived. Now, remember that earthquake I mentioned at the beginning? Here's the answer. In 1996, a major earthquake struck Yunnan province in southwest China. The modern parts of the city of Lijiang suffered heavy damage, but the old town, Daiyan, built over 800 years ago by the Naxi people, using traditional joinery techniques with no nails, survived almost entirely intact. The same earthquake. 2 different responses from 2 different kinds of construction. The modern buildings failed. The 800-year-old wooden structures built without a single nail held. There are things that knowledge accumulates over centuries that engineering software cannot yet replicate. And in Lijiang, that knowledge is still alive. The Naxi people still maintain their language, their cultural traditions, and their ancient town. A town where clear mountain spring water runs through stone channels along every street. So the sound of moving water follows you everywhere. From dawn until long after dark. Above it all, Jade Dragon Snow Mountain rises to 5,500 meters. Its glaciers are visible from the streets of the old town on clear days. Ice and ancient wood. Mountain and canal. The past, stubbornly, magnificently intact. I need to tell you why I wanted to include this next city. Because Zhangjiajie doesn't fit. It's not an engineering miracle. It doesn't have a record-breaking bridge or a train through an apartment building. And at nearly 3,900 meters above sea level, it is genuinely difficult to visit. The altitude alone makes every movement cost twice the normal effort. But I kept coming back to it in my research, because of what it represents. Human beings have been building cities here, at nearly 4,000 meters, in thin air, on the roof of the world, for thousands of years. The Tashilhunpo Monastery above the city was founded in 1447. Its golden rooftops cover nearly 300,000 square meters. Monks in dark red robes have moved through its courtyards through 6 centuries of history, through political upheaval, through empires rising and falling around them. And the sound inside those courtyards, low horns, prayer drums, wind, is the same sound that has filled this space for 600 years. There's a kind of ambition in Zhangjiajie that has nothing to do with height or scale or speed. It's the ambition of permanence, of building something not to impress, but to endure. At the beginning of this video, I asked you a question. What happens to a place when the infrastructure finally arrives? Guilin is the answer I didn't expect. A Chinese proverb over 1,000 years old says that Guilin's scenery is the finest under heaven. The karst limestone peaks rising vertically from the valley floor, the Li River winding between them, carrying their reflections. The local fishermen who still use trained cormorants, birds, to catch fish in the traditional way that has continued here without interruption for over 1,000 years. And yet, modern tourism has arrived. Hotels, restaurants, tour boats, infrastructure. And somehow, impossibly, Guilin absorbed it all without losing itself. The peaks still rise the same way they did when ancient painters first tried to capture them. The river still moves at the same pace. The cormorant fishermen still go out at dusk with their lanterns and their birds, the same way their grandparents did, and their grandparents before them. There are places that infrastructure destroys, and there are places where something in the land itself resists. where the landscape is so strong that it simply absorbs everything that arrives and remains, fundamentally, what it has always been. Guilin is one of those places. China is not one place. It is a civilization that contains within it an almost impossible range of human experience. Cities built on gorges, ancient towns that outlast earthquakes, bridges over empty air, trains through apartment buildings, gardens that make 5 hectares feel like the world. And every city we walked through in this video showed us the same thing underneath all of it. A civilization that has never stopped building, never stopped adapting, never stopped asking, what happens if we try? But here's what I haven't shown you yet. There are villages in China, not cities, villages, that are more extraordinary than anything in this video. Places so remote, so completely off the map, that most Chinese people have never seen them either. If this journey took you somewhere unexpected, tell me in the comments which city surprised you most. And stay with us, because the next one goes deeper. If you're enjoying this video, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, share it with someone who needs to see this. And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do.